Ashe, 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 and a grand rising, a grand day to you all once again, my very beautiful people, and especially you, my awakened and enlightened people, the world over. Yes, 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 yes. You all don't know that it is yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And as customary, along with some of my recorded chirping bird sounds and some of my rusty finger picking guitar gently playing in the background. Now, I must mention the fact that a number of you, my regular listeners, and in some cases watchers and readers and critics, I might add, have either text me, WhatsApp me, or message me, email me, call me, or ask me in person why I haven't been doing my regular videos, my regular commentaries, lectures, and podcast post titled Another Perspective, the Mystic Philosopher, for a while. Where have I been? And if I had stopped trying to wake my people up to the reality of what's happening, and if I had stopped provoking them to think for themselves, and my answer to them is that I have come to the realization of at least 3 very brutal but very important facts. And they are, fact number 1, I think that it is now much too late to try and wake most of my own people up from the system's hypnotic trance that they are in, and to the reality of what is being done to us all. For if the shaking of the ship by the vicious storm that is blowing, and the noise of the spiritual and otherwise bombs that are being dropped on us, figuratively speaking, of course, coupled with the violence and abuse that are being unleashed on us daily, if that cannot wake them up, then that alone is telling I, the mystic philosopher, that it is much too late. And so I think that it is much better for them to continue sleeping and take their rest and die in their ignorance. Sleep on and take your rest. Second, some people just don't want to know the truth or to acknowledge the truth. To them, ignorance is bliss. Some are even offended by the truth when they are exposed to it, or when I expose them to it, while others just like the life of pretense that they are living, or if you prefer, surviving it. Consequently, as the saying goes, like the dumb ostriches that sticks their heads in the sand while foolishly thinking that they are hiding and that they are safe from with their heads in the sand, that they are safe from their predators. But in their stupidity, they are totally unaware of the fact that their whole bodies are exposed. Third reason is the fact that everybody is talking. Too much talking, my people. There is no shortage of talking. Examples: the preachers are talking, the pastors are talking, the lawyers are talking, the politicians are talking, or they never stop. The radio and TV talk show hosts are talking. All in their sleep, they're talking. The journalists are talking. The mothers are talking. Fathers are talking. The doctors are talking. The counselors are talking. The coaches are talking. The bloggers are talking. The vloggers are talking. The activists are talking. The protesters are talking. You name it or you name them. And they, or if you prefer, they are all talking, or we are all talking. Everybody is on one or more social media platforms. Doing what? Talking. And very few of us are really listening, let alone carefully listening. And better yet, very few of us are really hearing anything other than what they, or other than what we want to hear, and other than what we are programmed or they are programmed to hear, let alone hearing the messages of the natural mystic, the messages of our source and our most honorable ancestors that are ever present and blowing in the air. And above all, very few of us are really doing anything. And that, from my perspective, doing or action truly speaks louder than words. Just imagine, if you will, if talking alone could really get things done or solve our problems. For basic activated common sense will affirm and should affirm that if we as a people were talking less and are truly talking less, and if we were carefully listening more, then we would be taking action, the right action, by doing what we are told to do from the mystic realms, but we are not listening and we're not hearing, in order to be free from the mental, spiritual, and physical subjugation that we are in and that we are under today. Those are just some of the main reasons why I took a break from speaking, or if you prefer, took a break from talking. So with that said, I'm back. And I'm here to share with you some more of my unique and thought-provoking perspectives and insight. Yes, the mystic philosopher speaks again. He's talking. And yes, my people, it is high time for reason and for reasoning. In fact, if I might add, it is high time for thinking and for reasoning. It's nowhere possible. It's never. And the topic that I will speak on and timely share with you on this Grand Rising is titled The Good News and the Bad News All in One. So I'm going to give you both good news and bad news on this Grand Rising. I would like to begin my talk on this Grand Rising by asking you to please listen very carefully while engaging your imagination. Activating and engaging your imagination to this 3 minutes audio that I am about to play from a video stating some historical facts about some of my fellow African brothers and sisters, namely the Kikuyu people of Kenya. Now, let me just give you a little background here. The video from which the audio is taken, along with two other very graphic videos showing some of my fellow African brothers and sisters being massacred, showing them being defenselessly beaten, showing them being mercilessly tortured, showing them being humiliated, showing them being dehumanized, showing them being subjugated, showing them being brutalized and being murdered in cold blood by the system's trained agents of force and the forces of evil. And this practical demonstration of evil upon my African people, as seen in the video, are done by no other than the Moroccan and the Spanish agents of force and the forces of evil, aka the Moroccan and Spanish police at the Moroccan Melilla borders. And they were shared with me a few days ago by one of my fellow African sisters, who became very distraught by what she both saw and heard in the videos. And in her desperate attempt to find understanding, understanding and overstanding, hope and comfort, tearfully and emotionally charged, she asked me the following 5 questions. Question 1, Mystic, when will this end, my brother? Question 2, how will it end? 3, what have we Africans, we the Earth's original organic and highly melanated humans, done these Caucasians, or these Caucasian people, that cause them to hate us with such venomous hatred? Mystic, please tell me and explain to me, what sins have we and our most honorable ancestors committed against them and their God that caused them to despise us and be treating us the way they do? Question 4, what is the solution to their innate and perfect hatred for us? And she said, please see Psalms 139 verse 22 from the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. 5. Question 5. What can we do? Or what must we do to be saved from them? Now I will share with you my response to those 5 questions from my sister after I play the audio. So let me see if I can cue up this audio and have you take a listen. 1 second, please. Here we go. Here we go. Where are you? Where are you? No, that's not it. Yeah, here we go. Take a listen.
Kenya, soon after the Second World War, there was an uprising by the Kikuyu people who wanted their land back. The Kikuyu were herded into concentration camps and fortified villages, almost the entire population of over 1 million people. People were systematically tortured to death. They invented a new kind of pliers whose purpose was first to crush men's testicles and then to cut them off. They raped women with bayonets. They raped men. Similarly, a favoured technique was to ram sand up the rectum with a stick. Sometimes they were rolled up in barbed wire and kicked around the compound until they bled to death. Some of the British soldiers boasted about this. This is within living memory. The Colonial Secretary lied about it. The papers documenting it were burnt. The impact of the rich and powerful nations has been so phenomenally murderous and destructive that it has been completely airbrushed from our national consciousness. In order to justify the land-grabbing colonial projects, you had to create an ideology. We, the Europeans or the Americans, have come to rescue the rest of the world from its depravity and backwardness. But in order to do that, you have to be able to demonstrate that the rest of the world is depraved and backward. From this arose the racism that is still with us today. It was a necessary component of the colonial project. Some people might claim, well, okay, we broke a few eggs to make this omelette. It's as if all those human beings were eggs. But look at the omelette. Isn't it fantastic? Look, we made this fantastic omelette. Forget about all that unpleasant stuff and let's just celebrate where we are. Where we are is a continuation of the project. We commodified people's land and people's labour and turned it into our property. We're also destroying the rest of the living world alongside it. We don't have to be like this. We are the same human beings as anybody else. We're all part of the same big human family. We just have to recognise that, accept that. And of course, within Western countries, there are plenty of brilliant people resisting colonisation, both internal colonisation within our own countries and external colonisation of other people's countries. These are the voices which must come to the fore. Those who emphasise altruism and kindness and generosity and empathy for others. Those who recognise that skin colour and any other difference of language, of religion, of background is completely irrelevant by comparison to what we share, which is our humanity. Now
Yes.
more than ever, we need alternatives to the billionaire media. We need people who are not afraid to confront wealth and power, who will speak truth to power, who will call out the things that wealth and power do to everyone else. So please support Double Down through Patreon. It's your support which will allow this alternative media to thrive.
Yes, my dear beloved people. Wish you could have seen the video itself, but I honestly don't have the software or the wherewithal to share with you the video and the images it contains. And you hear that for yourself. I didn't make it up. Those are not my words. Now, these barbaric acts by the real and true barbarians, the evil ones, depicted in the other two videos, and no doubt you that are listening will hear of similar acts in the audio that I've just played. We are since told by these barbarians, these demon-possessed creatures from hell, we are told that they are justifiable acts. So much so that the forces of evil have received the highest praise and approval from the Spanish Prime Minister. And we are also told by him, yes, the Spanish Prime Minister, that they were done in order to prevent the victims who are my fellow Africans, from immigrating to any of their Caucasoid countries. And in this case, the Caucasoid country called Spain. But I have already addressed that issue elsewhere in another video, so please, again, just think about it, my people. This is not nothing new or a new manifestation of the forces of evil. Now that you have listened to the one video, and for those of you who are interested, I can forward you the images of all three videos. For those of you that have listened, now here are my answers to the 5 questions from my sister. 5 questions mentioned earlier. Question number 1, Mystic, when will this end? And my answer to that question is soon and very soon, my beloved sister. Soon and very soon it will end. Question 2, from my sister, how will it end? And again, my answer is in total disaster, in total destruction, which I will explain and provide proof shortly. Stay tuned. 3. What have we Africans, we the Earth's original, organic and highly melanated humans done these Caucasian people that cause them to hate us with such venomous hatred? Mystic, please tell me and explain to me what sins have we and our ancestors, our most honorable ancestors, committed against them and their God that caused them to despise us and be treating us the way they do? And my answer to this question, my dear beloved sister, and my answer to my sister, yes, was this: nothing. We have nothing. They have done anything. But they can't help themselves. The fact is that they were and that they are created by their God to do exactly what they are doing and to treat us exactly the way that they are treating us. And I can prove it to you from their own book, their own history and holy book. And the evidence show it for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear and a mind that can just free itself, at least temporary, to understand, and overstand the fact. Question 4. What is the solution to their innate and perfect hatred for us? Please see Psalm 139:22. And I will read it for you who don't have access to the book right now. And I quote from their book. First time I hear the phrase perfect hatred, I said, no man, that could not be in a holy book. Doesn't make sense. But there it was. And I quote Psalm 139, verse 22. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. And quote, that's how they treat us. They hate us with perfect hate and treat us worse than their enemies. And again, I answer her question by quoting the prophetic words of the late Robert Nesta Marley from one of his songs called, or titled, The Real Situation. And here, let me quote it for you. Check out the real situation. And I quote, check out the real situation. Nation war against nation. Where did it all begin? When will it end? Well, it seems like total destruction, the only solution. And there ain't no use. No one can stop them now. Ain't no use. Nobody can stop them now. Unquote. And question 5. And what can we do, or what must we do to be saved from them? And the answer I gave her was this: acknowledge. We must acknowledge and reunite with our source and ancestors. Yes, we must acknowledge our source and our ancestors and reunite with them. Now, with all that said, let me now focus on my on my topic for today, titled The Good News and the Bad News All at One time. First, let me give you the good news. The good news, my dear beloved people, is that the end of the Adamic race, and by extension the end of the Adamic races, aka the Caucasian race and races of humankind that are also commonly, falsely, erroneously, ignorantly, deliberately, deceptively, and connivingly called the white race of people, is at hand. The end is at hand. Yes, the good news is that the reign of force and forces, the reign of evil, the reign of terror, deception, invasion, corruption, colonization, occupation, domination, brutalization, and parasitic human exploitation. Yes, their malevolent reign of genocides, heinous atrocities, the reign of heinous crimes against Mother Nature and our natural native earthly humanity and all that which is natural. Their pollution, chemical and biological warfare, and weapons of mass destruction. Their reign and their proliferation of unnatural diseases, sicknesses, death, and destruction. And that is just to name a few of their manifest yes, of their known characteristics, that only they and their collaborators and subjects will attempt or would attempt to deny is at hand. That's the good news. And they know it. Yes, they themselves know it. And most will even try to deny it. And are denying it. But they can't stop it. They can't stop it. No. There ain't no stopping it now. In summary, the reign of evil, the reign of the current God of the earth, yes, the reign of terror, the reign of the unnatural one and his devils, the unnatural one, his seeds, aka Satan, children upon this our planet and Mother Earth, is coming very shortly to their preordained and self-destructive end. They are self-destructing. Yes, my people, the good news and glad tidings that I am well pleased to bring to you today is that the earth is about to be purged. The earth is about to be purified and cleansed of them. Yes, my people, they are all going down and out of here. And for those of us that are their exploits, their victims, the victims of their injustices, the victims of their force and forces of evil, and are in the know, those of us that are in the know, this must and this should give us great joy and a great reason to rejoice and be glad. Just think about it for a moment, my people. What this earth and its inhabitants was like before these devils came along. And can you imagine what it will be like when the earth is forever rid of them? As the saying goes, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. For then we shall start all over again. But more than that. Now, the bad news. We give you the good news. Let me now also share with you what may be described as the bad news. The bad news is that one, we that are alive, or if you prefer, those of us that will be alive in the flesh, yes, when the end of the wicked comes, are all going out of here with them. Yes, listen carefully. We that are alive, or those of us that will be alive when the end of the wicked comes, are all going out of here with them. And we will be going out of here just like them. What are you talking about, mystic? Meaning, when the end of Satan, the devil, and his seed, his children come, none of us will survive it. None of us will survive. 2, and may I say, quite regrettably, some of us will also be going out and down with them. Not the word. Out, not only out, but down with them. And what exactly do I mean by one? We that are alive when the end of the wicked comes are all going out of here with them and just like them. Just the way they go. I mean that we all are going to die. Yes. We all are going to die. It's not like them are just drop on and whatever happened, which I shall shortly explain, and they go and we stay. No. When the end of the wicked comes, we will all be killed. Or more correctly, and from a much deeper metaphysical perspective, we all are going to be violently forced from our physical bodies. And especially those of us that are the natural native earthly humans, the earth's original, the earth's organic and highly melanated humans. we who possess souls, we the soulful people, we all will be forced to vacate our physical bodies. In fact, in the twinkle of an eye, some of us bodies, as you shall no doubt shortly see, will be vaporized. Our individual soul, or the thing called our soul, which is eternal, will be forced to disconnect from our physical bodies. Our soul that once incarnate will be forcefully, if you will, excarnate. Our silver cord that connects our soul, if you will, to the physical body, if you will, our silver cord will be forcefully broken, and those of us that have not sold, this is important now, those of us that have not sold or did not sell our soul to Satan and his devils, and are thereby, and as a consequently, they are thereby wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up with them, will return to our source and our most honorable ancestors from whence we came to be here. And thus we have nothing or no one to fear. Yes, we will be at peace and at rest with our natural source and our ancestors. And two, what exactly do I, the mystic philosopher, mean by some of us will also be going out and down with them? I mean exactly that. Those of us, or those from among us, the natural native earthly humans, that have sold their souls to Satan and his devils, as mentioned earlier, wrapped up and tied up with them. Those that have denied our source and ancestors from whence and from whom we came to be here, and are those that are denying our source and ancestors and are aligned to Satan and his children, etc. They will be going out of here and down there to the pit of hell, aka, or symbolically speaking, eternal misery. They will be going to that eternal misery and eternal torment, which is the abode of what? Satan and his devils. That's where they're going. Those that have sold their soul, those that have get so wrapped up, tied up in the systems, technology, not understanding exactly what technology and tech really is or what it means, but those are the subjects I talked about before, and we'll visit them again with more information. Yes, those that are even offended now because of they are so aligned with the devils, intimately and otherwise, spiritually, you name it. You know, go down and end up in that torment and be like them. You guys are tormented already anyhow. And this is also how we know and how we can know who and what Satan the devil is, and who and what his devils, aka his seeds, his children, his chosen people are. It is by their what? Their fruits, by their works, by their manifestation, their behavior. That is how we that are awakened and enlightened to the workings, to the operations of Satan, know them. And the evidence show, and the evidence is hereby showing that the aforementioned race, and by extension races of humankind, aka the Adamic or the Caucasoid race and races, are the craziest. They are the deceptive, the most warring, miserable, tormented, restless, ruthless, reckless, wicked and cruel creatures ever. Wicked and cruel creatures, etc., etc., ever to occupy space on this our planet and Mother Earth. Everything and everyone is somehow consciously aware or unconsciously aware of them, or consciously or unconsciously afraid of them. Yes, They are the most feared creature on the planet. Consequently, and above all, being who and what they are, they have contaminated us all with their diseases from hell. And as it is written in their own history and holy book, aka the Adamic race history and holy book, and I quote, therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, the death, and death through sin, and in this way death came to all people because all sinned. Unquote Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. I just quote from the New International Version. And just for your information, that one man who carried the germ, that one man that possesses the germ, is the creature called Adam, the patriarch and ancestor of what? The Adamic race, and by extension the Adamic races. All these, the Adamic and the Adamic races, I've explained it in prior talks and prior lectures. And just for the record and for your information as well, before this creature was created, our most honorable ancestors, aka the pre-Adamic humans, we were here before them, you know that, pre-Adamic humans, did not know this thing called sin. We had no knowledge of this thing called sin. So because of their creation, yes, and their occupation and their infectious disease called sin, that is also another reason why we all have to go. The earth has to be cleansed, it has to be purified. Yes. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, you name it. We all have to go. And we all will be going when the end comes. And when the end comes. Yes, my dear beloved people, the earth, Mother Earth is polluted. Mother Earth is being corrupted. The environment, everything. Point back to who? The ones who call themselves the superior ones. You name it. It has to be cleansed. And I mentioned, as I detailed in other previous talks and lectures, that the earth has to be purified. In fact, in one of my songs I point out the fact that the Hopi Indians and I await the earth's purification. And what is purification? Purification comes through intense heat, fire. So it has to be purged, yes, and purified, and then it will be cleansed and make whole again. And what do the cleansing? Water. But more on that, I've covered that elsewhere. Number 3, when will it end? Or when will they end? The answer is soon, and very soon. It could be any day or any night now. It could also be weeks or months or even a few more years from today. But rest assured, my people, I, the mystic philosopher, say so. Even if I am not around, for you to acknowledge my prophecy here. It's not even a prophecy, it's a reality. Rest assured that it is not if or when, but when it will end. Number 4, how will it or how will they end? As mentioned earlier, it or they will end in total destruction, total disaster, total destruction. And Bible said too. And as it is written, I quote, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child. And they shall not escape. In fact, nobody shall escape when that judgment comes. When the purge comes. It's like having a hard drive. I explained all this before. If you have a computer hard drive and it is corrupted with all different type of deadly viruses, then you have to completely reformat it, clean everything from it. All the files on it are corrupted. Yes, all of us are victims of the system of these devils, wrongdoings and evils, you name it. In fact, no, if you say I don't see this, see myself. If you say we are not victims, and again, I will find in another lecture what this thing called still is, but that's another subject. Yeah, man, we all are screwed by them. They control our mind. Anyway, but let me not stray from this, my talk on this beautiful Grand Rising. Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of possible ways by which all physical life, as we think we know them, could end and can be erased from off this our planet and Mother Earth. This includes, of course, natural disasters over which we humans and even the humankind themselves, humankind alike, they have no control. And it was the knowledge of this fact, the knowledge of the fact that we are very vulnerable people and we are privileged to be here to enjoy this our Mother Earth and to be fed by her and to be watered by her, to be, guided by her, etc. It was the knowledge of this fact that we could be erased any minute or any second. The knowledge of this fact was the knowledge of this fact that our most honorable, these are not the facts, that our most honorable African ancestors, we the natural native earthly humans, cherished this thing we call life. We cherish the sacredness and the preservation thereof. However, the evidence has shown that since the invasion of our planet by the Adamic God and the creation of the mankind called Adam and his Adamic race, and by extension his Adamic races of humankind, the reverence for the sanctity of life, and especially our natural native earthly human lives, has been grossly violated and underappreciated. This is a point and a subject that I have already covered exhaustively in some of my earlier lectures and some of my earlier talks. Now, I would just like to draw your attention to 10 of those possibilities. 10 of the possible ways in which all life could be immediately, instantly, or within a very short period of time erased from off this planet Earth. Let me point you to 10, and to do so I will quote from the World Atlas website at www.worldatlas.com, and I quote, "As much as life on Earth has proved how resilient it can be, some events can prove to be too much to handle. The end of all life on Earth has been a big topic of discussion for ages. Speculations on how that could happen have been thrown around for long. Doomsday predictions have covered every imaginable disaster, from an asteroid impact to nuclear war, and even wild assertions of an alien invasion. The one thing that remains constant in all predictions is that the threat of life ending one day is real." Now, here are ways in which life on Earth can come to a sudden end. Number 1, nuclear war. After 1945, the world has been gripped in a perpetual fear of humanity being wiped out by a nuclear war. The threat is more real now than ever before, when the number of nuclear weapons stockpiled by countries around the globe is taken into consideration. A blast from a nuclear bomb has the potential to disseminate life within a 5-mile radius. and most would die of exposure to thermal radiation. The worst part of an all-out nuclear war, however, would be the nuclear winter that would follow. There would be enough smoke, dust, and other radioactive particles in the air to block sunlight and heat from reaching the surface. Plants that depend on light for photosynthesis will die first, followed by animals and people who will all succumb to what? Starvation. Number 2, global pandemic. Humans have on more than one occasion come face to face with diseases that threatened their existence. Smallpox once killed 300 million people at the height of its infection in the 20th century. As the years go by, bacteria are evolving and becoming resilient to antibiotic. In the not so distant future, it is predicted that antibiotics will stop working altogether, and this will open a window for the return of deadly diseases like the bubonic plague and the Spanish flu and others that could potentially eradicate humans. Number 3, global warming. Global warming is the only prediction that has already started manifesting itself. There would be a sharp increase in natural disasters like cyclones, floods, and famines as the climate shifts away from the regular pattern. Some areas will start receiving too much rain, leading to destructive floods, while at the same time, areas that used to receive rain will begin getting hotter and drier. Wildfires have already doubled within the tropics, adding more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which in turn increases global warming. If the global temperature rises by a mere 2 degrees Celsius by 2050, cities around the world will start experiencing apocalyptic situations like heat strokes, food and water scarcity that would be worse than what happened in Barcelona in 2008. 4th is overpopulation. It is not that hard to imagine how the world could turn out if the human population were to increase by another 2 or 3 billion. The current population is already exerting pressure on resources. An increase of 2 to 3 billion will tip the scales, and half the world would be facing mass starvation. Limited resources would also spark serious conflicts, forcing everyone to fight for the little that will be left. Larger populations also provide the perfect breeding and spreading ground for infectious disease like the plague. 5. An asteroid impact. Chances of an asteroid impact are relatively low, but the possibility cannot be ruled out. The universe is full of floating debris, and among them, massive asteroids with the potential to destroy the planet, or rather with the potential to destroy a planet. If an asteroid strikes the Earth, it will throw the world into a devastating dust winter that will eliminate every plant on the surface and in the oceans. What would follow next would be mass starvation as animals and humans drop one by one for lack of food. The impact of the asteroid itself would produce enough blast energy to eliminate all life within a certain radius, as it did 66 million years ago. That's time of day. I'll talk about that later. Number 6, supervolcanoes. a mere real threat than an asteroid strike, but with almost the same consequences, is a super volcano. The Earth was once a field of seething hot magma erupting from its core. And these processes are what shaped the planet into what it is today. Dormant volcanic mountains are the remainders of how violent planet Earth forces can be. If a supervolcano eruption occurs, there would be enough dust in the atmosphere to start another ice age. It would be similar to the one that happened during the Great Dying, where 90% of life was eliminated by a single eruption in the Siberian region. Too much dust in the air would block sunlight and heat, killing off all plants and enveloping any survivors with extreme winter. Enveloping winter. Number 7, extreme pollution. The start of the industrialization era introduced a new monster that lives on the planet, has been grappling with ever since. So let me read that over. The start of the industrialization era introduced a new monster that lives on the planet, has been grappling with ever since: pollution. Pollution is now destroying vital marine microorganisms that are the foundation of our life on the earth. Once this is done, the butterfly effect would be catastrophic. Air pollution is expected to get worse in the next century, and with it, more respiratory diseases that will harm not only humans, but also plants and other animals. Number 8, biological weapons. Weaponizing viral agents of deadly diseases is not new. Governments tried their hands in developing them, and they continue to do so in secret labs today. The development of technology has brought the reality of a biological attack closer than what many people believe. Gene editing technologies are now easily accessible, and if they were to fall into the wrong hands, then it will only be a matter of time before the world finds itself staring into a disease pandemic that cannot be handled. Number 9, solar storms. Solar storms are a common occurrence. They are disturbances that happened on the surface of the sun that lead to an abrupt release of an intense cosmic wave. These waves do not directly affect life on Earth, but they are powerful enough to disrupt electronic equipment like communication devices, power grids, and satellites. Human civilization depends on such types of equipment, and it would be catastrophic if they were to collapse. The last time a solar storm hit the Earth was in 1859. We are due for another hit in the future. Number 10, artificial intelligence, also known as AI. Humanity has been on top of the hierarchy of life owing to the intelligence they possess. But what happens when another form of higher intelligence is created? The risk of human being overtaken by the same artificial intelligence that they have created is no longer a fantasy. Higher level robots are already working for humans in developed countries, and in the next century they would possess more intelligence than humans. A situation where they start competing with humans and seeing them as obstacles are not far-fetched. And as humans have already demonstrated with other life forms, survival is guaranteed for the fittest, unquote. Now, I would like to now draw your attention to the fact that of the 10 real and inevitable risks of destruction of our life form from off this, our planet and Mother Earth, only 4 are directly attributed to Mother Nature. Only 4 are directly attributed to natural disasters. And they are as follows. 1, global pandemic, or more correctly, a real global pandemic. Note, not a so-called pandemic, or a pandemic, or a scamdemic. That is the work of Satan and his devils. And most of you know what I'm talking about. But a real pandemic from nature, in which all humans alive would be infected with a killer pathogen or a killer virus or a killer disease. That's what the word pandemic mean. Pan mean all, demic mean people. So you don't really have a global pandemic if everybody now gets screwed by it, or infected and dead by it. Now, an asteroid, the next one is an asteroid. Number 2 is an asteroid impact. We covered that already. The next one is a super volcanoes and or a super volcano, and solar. And number 4 is a solar storm. These 4 can be attributed to the forces of nature or natural disasters. The remaining 6, namely nuclear war, or more precisely, a thermonuclear war. 1. 2. Global warming. 3. Overpopulation. 4. Extreme pollution. 5. Biological weapons. And 6. Artificial intelligence, also commonly known as AI, are all attributed to the chief mastermind and god of the earth, commonly called who? Satan, the devil, and his people. Yes, his people's invasion, creation, and demonstration. Yes, his people, his scientists, them. All these are attributed to them. They are all mankind-made threats to our survival. They are all mankind, these devils, made threats and disasters. And the 2 that are the most imminent right now as I am talking and making this podcast on today's what? Friday, July 1st, 2022. Are 1, a nuclear war. And number 2 is artificial intelligence, AI. And just for a little self-promo here, and to prove to some of you that I'm not a Johnny come lately trying to ride on the wagon of on the nuclear bandwagon. Please listen to, and I ask that you also pay very close attention to the words and messages in this one of my songs called One Step Closer to a Nuclear War Disaster. I ask you for just a few seconds to bring this thing up. Yeah, let's go. One step closer. We are just one step closer to a nuclear war disaster. When the world superpowers will go to war with each other. Will there be any human survivors from this nuclear war winter? 'Cause when this hell freezes over, it will be very cold, harsh and bitter. greed and wickedness of these so-called world leaders. I do not know the real answer, but I only know they have put all our lives in great danger. You see, it's an ominous threat of mass destruction and human extinction. It's called nuclear weapons hanging over the land. Some nuclear watchers and scientists say that it will only take 10 to 100 super bombs, 100 super bombs, to end the world as we know it and all life forms in their mass nuclear destruction. But among the approximately 196 nations, there are only 9 that are known to be in full possession. Have some 60 to 25,000 nuclear bombs. Yes, we are just one step closer to a nuclear war disaster. When this world superpowers will go to war with each other, will it be NATO or America or vice versa that will start a war with Russia? Will it be North or South Korea that will restart the war on their peninsula? And why is the poor and innocent people that have to suffer for the greed and wickedness of these so-called world leaders? I do not know the real answer, but I know they have put all our lives in great danger. You see, the nuclear-armed United Kingdom and France are now proclaiming to be good neighbors and best friends. Neighbors and best friends. But as their own recorded history has shown that not too long ago, it was not so. Was not so. Oh no, oh no. Cause since they have warred and killed each other before, they could do it all over again. Yes, all over again. That is wasn't the beginning, so shall it be in the end. For we know how the story goes when these good friends turn into foes. Yes, we are one step closer to a nuclear war disaster. When this world superpowers go to war with each other, will it be Japan or China that will go to war with each other? Or will it be Pakistan or India to be the first to pull this nuclear trigger? And what about all the others with the nuclear power that are there lurking undercover? Why do the poor and innocent people have to suffer for the greed and wickedness of these so-called world leaders? I do not know the real answer, but I know they have put all our lives in great danger. You see, now India and Pakistan have fought at least 3 wars over their borders and land. Their borders and land. Today they tensely stare each other down with their nuclear bombs and trigger in hand. Bombs and trigger in hand. Then in the Middle East there is Israel and their bitter feud with Iran. But at least for now it seems to be Israel backed by the US that has the upper hand. For Iran has been forced to sign the Treaty of Non-Proliferation. We are one step superpowers will go to war with each other. Will there be human survivors from this nuclear war winter? 'Cause when this hell freezes over, the end will be very cold, harsh and bitter. And why the poor and innocent people will always have to suffer? I don't know. For the greed and wickedness of these so-called world leaders, I do not know the real answer. But I know they have put all our lives in great danger. Yes, we are just one step closer to a nuclear war disaster. When the world's superpowers. Yes, my dear beloved people, one step closer to a nuclear war disaster. How we will get out of here? These caused by these devils. And we see what's happening right now between NATO, US, and Russia. Yeah, man, with what going on in Ukraine. We see it, we know it. We see the threats and all of that. So we are just by these same devils who create these weapons. They are self-destructive, and regrettably, we get caught up in the midst. But this song I wrote, and I think over 6 years now since this song have been out. So I'm not just talking about this thing like it just started yesterday. No, I've been following and monitoring these things, and my ancestors have revealed a lot to me, so I know it's coming, it's gonna happen. Yes, my dear beloved people. And finally, please let me read you a quote on the dangers of artificial intelligence, which I have to cover in more detail. Another lecture, another presentation. Artificial intelligence, AI. I'm going to read you a quote from the CBS News website at www.cbsnews.com, and I quote, Elon Musk, SpaceX and Tesla founder, expressed grave concerns about what? Artificial intelligence, deeming it a threat to humanity. In a recent appearance at MIT, with artificial intelligence, he quote, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning demon. Musk said in an interview during last week's centennial celebration of the MIT Aeronautics and Astronautics Department, unquote. Yes, my people, stay tuned for my commentary, full commentary and explanation of, get into more details of what this thing called AI is and what it's all about. And everybody's so excited about it, not knowing that they are playing with extermination of themselves. But we'll get back to that another time. I think I talk, that's why, I talk a lot. So, my dear beloved people, let me again quote Bob Marley. Robert Mr. Marley. He said, check out the real situation. Nation war against nation. Where did it all begin? When will it end? Well, it seems like total destruction, the only solution. And there ain't no use. No one can stop these devils now. No one can stop them now. Ain't no use. Nobody can stop them now. No, we can't stop it. It's not if, it's when. And it's too late to even try. It's going down. Now, with all that said, and as customary, I think I should just end this talk right here. And now, until next time, if there is a next time, yes, until next time, only if there is a next time, when and where I will share some more of my thought-provoking perspectives and insights on someone or on something else. And if there's not a next time here, and if we are sent back or forward to our source and sources as a result of the Adamic race and races colliding with each other, or as a result of them go more mad. Well, I do hope, my dear beloved people, my brothers and sisters, to see and recognize some of you on the other side or in another dimension. Thanks for listening, and I do hope that I was able to again provoke you to see and think of things a little differently. In the meantime and between time, please hold it up and not down, my people. Be more and more and much, much more and not less. For I am the mystic philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.